Hello everyone, am I audible? If anyone can just message and let me know if I'm audible. Hello everyone, am I audible? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you so much. So we'll just start the session in a few minutes. We will wait for Gunjan to join. I'll be introducing Gunjan in a while, but I'll just give you an idea about what this session is all about. So, as you all know, at Swarasya, we talk of beauty from the five-dimensional perspective. We talk of beauty as the aspect of your outer self, and then it keeps going deeper to your inner self. So ultimately, you start with your outer sheath, which is your, outermost self, which is your body, your physical self, and which is created by the foods and the kind of foods that you consume. The second kind of sheath that we talk about, or the layer that actually fuels your beauty from inside, from that radiance. Somebody who's very magnetic and who come across as a very attractive kind of a personality, that is kind of fueled by your inner layer, which is your energy level. So at a very common man level, we can understand it from the aspects of your energy levels, like how do you feel, and at certain point in time, what are your energy levels. The third sheet that we talk about is about emotions. Of course, we know, you kind of tend to look very dull when you are not in a very good state of emotions, or your moods are not very good. But there is a science behind how stress ages you, how ultimately those wrinkles and that level of aging that you see on the skin for a lot of people is a lot to do with the kind of emotions that are working at the back of it. And then a little more deeper as you go, you reach a place which is the level of your self-realization, which is nothing but your consciousness. There are certain things that you may be doing right or you may not be doing right in your routine, but then you don't listen to yourself, and then you just give in into all those all those temptations that come your way. So self-realization is an aspect of you telling you always what is right and what is not right for you, and it's the deeper connect with yourself. And ultimately, the fifth dimension that we talk about is your energy levels, how do you feel, and how that energy from the physical till all the four layers that we've talked about plays a strong role, and to kind of balance your body from within. So a beautiful body is a balanced body. Like, if I have to just summarize all of it in one line, it is beauty is nothing but a state of balance inside the body, and balance at all levels of being, like the physical level, the emotional level, mental level, and ultimately reaching to a stage where you actually, irrespective of whatever temptations keep coming your way, you still choose not to get onto the wrong way, because now you understand, you're self-realized, you know what is good for you and what is not good for you, what is not working for you. So these are the five dimensions. Now the topic that we have for today is related to the second layer, which is about which is about the energy, the pranic level, which is where actually everything transforms from within. So very difficult for us to for a common man rather, to understand how like, for us, skin is what we see, hair is what we see, or body is what we see, but at a certain level, all these things are combined together, or bloom at their best form only when you have a certain level of energy inside the body. Now this energy, again, from a common man perspective, we understand it from the level of feelings, like how do you feel. You feel sad, you feel happy, you feel, so that's where we relate to it. But there is a lot going on at the deeper level, or the pranic level, which is more of a science of prana, how Ayurveda and yoga sciences define about this sheath, or this layer of you being there. So this topic is about the second layer, which is about the pranic sheath, and somebody who's been practicing yoga or the pranic kind of practices actually understand this concept very, very well. And that's the reason we have Gunjan today, who's an expert into pranic practice of yoga, which is the Kundalini yoga. So we'll just wait for her to join. She'll be taking us deeper into how these sheets join together, like how prana joins all these sheets together. And of course, we expect to have some practices from her, which we can do on a daily basis, or we can practice even if we are not expert into it. Still, we can delve into this science and gradually get to understand how it works, and bring about a lot of changes within ourselves, not at just at the physical level, but at various levels of you, like your health starting to get better, you're starting to feel good and well. So that's how everything comes together. So till the time Gunjan is there, I will just introduce Gunjan and her profile. Gunjan is a Kundalini yoga practitioner and a yoga teacher for last 13 years. She's a certified yoga teacher and is certified into various other yoga lineages also. She is a yoga teacher, hatha yoga teacher. She's also educated into Vinyasa Karma, which is another form of yoga, and also a transformational yoga coach. She has written various publications and has been featured on NDTV, on Fit Rahe India as one of the yoga experts. She also takes various energy therapy classes, and also, she's a known yoga teacher in a lot of corporates, and she believes in living in her own truth. So we'll just see if, let me just check if Gunjan is there. Hi Gunjan, I guess you are there with us. If you could just help me understand, if you've sent me a join request. Okay, it's there. Thank you.
Yes, I did. I'm here, right
Hi
here.
Gunjan, hi. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Good, great. And it's so nice to see you. Like I have been listening to you for a very long time. I guess my first experience with you had been at one of the wellness events at Vitality Hours, I believe. I don't remember the name exactly, but yeah. So
Last
I guess
January.
yes. So I visited that event, and it was really nice. Because I had just started to delve into deeper into yoga, rather, I would say. And that's where the ideas and the concepts that you brought in were like really appealing to me. But then everything started to join together or come together when we got into Swarasya and created this five-dimensional approach to beauty, where we talk of everything. We talk of foods and physical self. We talk of prana. So we go layer by layer inside, like starting from your physical sheath, going on to your pranic sheath, then going on deeper to your emotional sheath, and then delving deeper into your consciousness, and ultimately moving on to the concept of energy, which kind of joins all these concepts together. So, Gunjan, over to you. Like, just help us understand what is Kundalini Yoga and how did you get into it?
Okay, so my first thing to saying, sharing on Kundalini Yoga would be that the practice I do, Kundalini Yoga, there are ways and there are forms and schools of Kundalini Yoga. The
Okay.
practice I incorporate, and I have been practicing for over a decade, more than that, and I teach, is from the school of Yogi Bhajan. And that practice in Kundalini Yoga is a trinity of movement, mantras, and breath. When we
Okay.
incorporate our movement, which means the asana practice, the hatha yoga, and
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a movement. So a posture can just continue to be a movement rather than sitting still.
Okay.
Movement mantras, we add mantras as we do this practice. So mantras can be any mantras as given in the philosophy of this practice.
Okay.
And then the breath work, movement mantras and the breath. So you are consciously using your breath side by side as you are practicing. That is what gives you the experience of this lineage of Kundalini Yoga. Coming to the lineages of yoga, because there are so many, and there are the lineage and different schools of yoga, Hatha Yoga, Vinyasa Yoga, then we have Kundalini Yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and coming to various other lineages, the ultimate aim for every yoga lineage is to come to the Kundalini. Now, since I practice various other therapies and modalities, I question everything. I do question if there is energy like Kundalini energy really, or is it just a name given?
Okay.
Yes, however, that is the energy which is innately sitting in us. Now, when that energy systematically moves in the body,
Mm-hmm.
that is what starts to change our entire life. And with life, I mean all the layers, like you were mentioning, of the five
Mm-hmm.
sheets. And, we bring them in Ayurveda, Panch Koshas, and, all of
Exactly.
those things which we start to bring in. How does that energy begin to change? So for me, that is a practical experience of life change when you are
Mm-hmm.
working your energy systematically. So Kundalini Yoga is that energy, systematic energy. You can call it the creator's energy. You can name
Okay.
it anything, but you have
Exactly.
to really experience it to know what it is.
That's true.
So when you do your movements correctly and when your breath work is correct and when you're doing mantras, mantras take away the pattern of the mind. That's what it does. So when we chant mantras and we engage the mind in another mantra. So we have mantras every day. Oh, I don't look good. Oh, I'm fat.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
mantra? I mean, like
these are
keep
this
reciting
becomes
things
like
to yourself.
exactly. So what
Right.
is the mantra you're giving yourself basically?
Mm-hmm.
Mantras, even if you use, the example, a mantra Om, or if
Mm-hmm.
you use a mantra I am, and just see when I say this, what is the energy of those words and what is the energy of the mantra? That which changes the brain pattern
Mm-hmm.
and that which can change eventually. See, when your body is moving in a certain energy, it starts to release it. Then you're constantly now how are you going to engage in yoga, body, mind, and soul? When you start to change the rhythm of your mind, your entire body will automatically start
That's
to
very true.
experience that
That's
change,
true.
right?
Yeah.
So it's all interconnected. Actually called yog. It was never yoga. We add a, right? The
Yes,
Sanskrit word
that's
is
more of a
originally
Western
yog,
way of
is the
calling
Western
it.
way
Yeah,
of it, and yoga is the way it is.
the real word.
So,
Yes.
so that is what is Kundalini Yoga. Just this
Okay.
underlying energy.
Okay.
People call
And
it a coil and all of that.
yes. So, I mean, if I go by your profile, you're educated into different kinds of yogic practice. It's not just Kundalini, but why was it that, this kind of got your attention? Like the other forms, which I guess a lot of people are attracted to. And I don't think a lot of people actually get into the Kundalini side of it. Most of them are associated with either Hatha or most of it is Vinyasa, like the flow and the activity and aggressiveness, that form of yoga. So what made
Yeah.
you, get into this form of yoga?
So when I started yoga practice, it was about 18 years ago. Clearly, my eldest son, who's 18 plus now. So
Okay.
when I actually, it's about 17 years, when he was a few months old, and I'll quickly share a recap, of this pain in the body I was experiencing in my shoulder and all of that. So I was told start yoga. And when I went for yoga, it may happen with a lot of people, but when I went for my first class, it felt like a samskara, past life
Mhm.
imprint came into my life. And I felt I've done this before and I have experienced this. So that was my first experience of a vinyasa class. I
Okay.
started with vinyasa practice. And then after vinyasa practice, I was in and out like a little bit,
Mhm.
changing schedules, little child who's not even 1 year old and stuff. And I had to travel quite a distance every day, about 10 kilometers. I would drive every day.
Okay. And at that time, I
Uh,
guess yoga was not a very, not many people were into it. It's like
no,
18
there
years is
was.
like,
So when you go to these groups, you realize, oh, there are people who are doing it. It's
but
just
not at a
that we don't
common
know.
level. Yes.
Not at a
Yeah.
common level,
Yeah.
not at this level, which
Yes.
COVID has given us now.
Yes,
I
exactly. And I guess
thank
it
COVID for
started
that.
with a lot of
Yeah,
things definitely to thank COVID too. I guess a lot of people could, kind of understand and see the benefits also out of it.
exactly. Somebody I just attended, I was in my morning sessions, and I was just sharing with this person. I said, do you realize the power of breath now? The
Mhm.
power of living now, And the only gift we have is our breath work. And, I'm such a, I'm like I would say I would completely go by this advertisement all the time. If I had to give one placard, I would say,
About
breathe,
breath.
breathe, breathe.
Yes, so this is what happens, in my practice also. Like, of course, like my majorly, I'm getting into, I deal with macrobiotics and the science of food energies and all that. But when the clients come in, the first question is which is that best food that can bring about this kind of a change or that kind of a change. Um, my first answer to it is, just go by how a human life enters the world. A newborn baby for minutes or for few hours is just on the breath, and then some part of liquid for a few months gets into his body, and after maybe a certain while, after a few months, the solids are introduced. So there is some signal the nature is giving you. Start with breath, move on to liquids, and then move on to the food. So foods are important, but then it doesn't lie on the top of the hierarchy. It's somewhere at the third level. So breath of course is important. The high time we start understanding the importance of breath.
So we always see if the child is gasping, if the child is taking its own breath, and we realize the child is independent and can lead this life. It's just that we don't realize it over a period of time and we get dependent on other factors around us.
Yes.
Do not realize the only factor you had to come in this world was your breath.
Breath.
And that is
True.
the only thing which will keep you alive right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, coming to your question and how different lineages, I am a practitioner and a certified practitioner in Hatha Yoga, in transformational yoga, and in Vinyasa Krama. That too by a beautiful teacher. He's a living master still, Sri Srivatsa Ramaswamy. So
Okay.
all of these courses are amazing. I've done them, and I love practicing Iyengar yoga. I'm a big fan of Iyengar yoga. I practice once in a week with my teacher.
Wow.
However, what happens is that, when I started my journey, say, when 17 years ago, when I was doing yoga, I would love to share this with these people, that
Definitely. Please, we would love to know that.
so when I was doing yoga already and I had pains and aches, not that they really went away, but my mind, my philosophy, I think something in my mind started stirring, right? As you practice yoga, you start to see your body open up more, your mind starts to change. Then came a point when, in the midst of the practices and all, I came to a point where I had a lot of deficiencies. And this happened, and then because you're a food therapist, I see you as that, macrobiotics and everything.
Yeah.
So and that time there was this therapy about food, and I'm not going to, um, uh, who or what I did with, but I had that I started getting deficiencies, and this was right after my first child, who was about not even a year old. Then I
Okay.
realized over the period of time that it was too early for me to ever think of dietary changes, because I
That's
didn't
true.
allow my body to naturally get back its nourishment through its
Yeah.
own tissues, dhatus and everything had to just nourish through the right food.
Right.
One part was that, but on the other hand, what happened was that the deficiencies became so severe. My B12 deficiencies and everything became severe that I was on the verge of MS, where I was losing balance of my arms and legs, and I was not able to
Okay.
feel the energy in them. Sensations were going away. And when you experience that, you wake up one morning and you tell your husband that, can you move my arm? I don't even know if I have an arm,
Oh, it was
so
that stage you had
it was
reached?
that severity, a
Okay.
severe stage. And I
Okay.
would have fear of falling, because I needed his help to walk. I couldn't walk by myself. And
Okay.
these things began to happen, and by grace of God, I'm a believer in alternate medicine, so I took whatever was required at that time. And then I started my little bit of yoga practice again with a teacher at home, and he came and he felt that I was very passionate about it. So he guided me and he said, go to the International Yoga Festival in Rishikesh. I
Okay.
said, okay. I was very keen, but leaving a child back, 3 year old, and not sure. I've never been to Rishikesh on my own. It's a really flamboyant place for everyone. So luckily, I went there out of
Okay.
a bit of a hassle in my head. Should I not? And I landed up when I heard somebody saying at a, at the station saying, don't go to a Kundalini yoga class. You may end up in a mental asylum. I overheard some foreigner saying that, and I heard it and I was elated. I said, this is where I
That was
have
a
to go.
common notion. I guess a lot of, and like even before you think of Kundalini, this is the first thing that's being told to you. Like, that energy can just
Yeah.
make you go crazy.
Go haywire. And
Yeah.
that actually inspired me. Maybe I was the
Okay.
opposite one. And I said, oh my God, I'm
Okay.
anyways dying inside. I should just go for this class,
Wow, that's nice. But it's not easy.
And
Like for me also, when I started yoga, I cannot actually still, I mean, I don't think I have that courage to think about getting into Kundalini because, better to just work with your body and, other forms rather than having that thought in the mind that this can make you go crazy. So, you really have
so,
to
yeah,
go beyond it.
that's what I love to share. What is the difference between some lineages, different
Okay.
lineages? And as
Okay.
much as they are all precious, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
ardent fan of yoga and I
Mm-hmm.
respect every teacher. All of them are very precious for me.
Yes.
Everyone has a different calling, though. The
Style.
path, somebody has one path leading, somebody likes alternate medicine, somebody likes the conventional medicine, somebody likes, whatever. But
Right.
they're all still wanting to be healthy. That's
True.
all. So when I came to this class, and my teacher, who we were 100 people, and she started telling us to bring your arms behind you. So we had our arms behind like this, and you
Mm-hmm.
had to go up and down. Okay, so you have to keep moving up and down. Okay, and I
Okay.
was at a stage where I was not even balanced in my body. Okay,
Because of your
and
deficiencies.
of my deficiencies. So,
Right.
I was accompanied by my cousin, an older cousin who would take care of me. Apparently, that's how my family allowed me to go. I was married and I was, not such a child. I
Right.
started doing that work in my class, 11 minutes of moving my body. I did not
Mm-hmm.
know where the strength came from, and I never looked back. That was my
Wow.
first experience of experiencing what is energy within me.
Energy.
without logic. This is what I wanted to come to. This Kundalini Yoga, whenever you come to a session of Kundalini Yoga, you leave your logic with your shoes outside. Because you will not get a logic and you will not get a disciplinary practice of standing in postures and making yourself stretch, doing a breath work this way, which I love equally, like I said, because it's a shift for me. The difference is Kundalini Yoga is a kind of yoga which will not tell you to go into your logical part of the body anymore. You can't sit there and say, oh, my chakra is working. You can't say, oh, this chakra started moving.
Yes.
It's an experience.
It's more of an experiential thing, yes.
It's
Right.
an experience. And when that experience happens, with what was moving, what was not moving, eventually it will just start to change. That is a evidence of what your practice is. And this is what the practice did for me. My way of concluding at that point of time until now is that I felt I came home with this practice. I did not know what home meant, but I really meant home in my heart center. Something in my heart exploded, and that's what Kundalini, the notion, or the belief of Kundalini is. Some people say it sits at your navel chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some masters have said that Kundalini actually arises from your Nabhi. My
Right.
master used to say, the journey of this life is if you can just journey from your Nabhi to your heart, your journey is
That's all
complete.
you need.
And we take all of a lifetime to be able to